Oh, that was a scary moment. I hate to go live and it just said, I cannot go live. Flicked off the channel, flicked back on the channel, and then it managed to go live. Thankfully, never really had any technical issues with StreamYard. Great product. If you are here, just let me know in the comments. Let me just put that on so I can actually see it. And tell me where in the world you are. And also let me know kind of conversational AI, what you do. There you go. That's my LinkedIn alerting me that I'm live, which is fantastic news. So for this one, we're going to look at how Juji Q&As, which sometimes is called FAQs elsewhere, uses generative AI support to make the process quicker and better. For anybody that's ever worked in building chatbots previously, building question and answers and doing the training and doing variations on the questions, variations on the answers, you know that is a laborious task. If you've got like 200 Q&As to go through, it's an incredibly boring process. Yes, they can be done in spreadsheets in most systems and then uploaded, but it's just a lot of work, and then you've got to go and manually check them anyway. But what I really love about Juji is that even without the generative AI support, it makes it simple, but that added element, that cherry on top, makes it absolutely lovely. So let's not hang around, because I don't want to take up too much of your time on a Friday. And where I am at the moment, it's 8 p.m. on a Friday. So, I don't want to be working too late. Okay, so let's flick across to Juji. If you've not seen Juji before, it's a very simple interface. They've spent a lot of time and effort on making it a really usable interface. I really love it. So I'll be talking you through everything as I go through it, but the main focus is going to be on that Q&A section. I've got the comments up, so if you've got any questions, ask them. And there will be some other people supporting me if I'm busy talking and you need an answer. So let's dive straight into it. So this is the main interface. You've got chatbots and you've got integrations. But the bit we're interested in here is creating a new chatbot. You can import a chatbot. I've done that when I was first learning the product, and the team there were trying to help me. Importing is the easiest I've ever seen of any product. Really, really nice. But we're actually going to create a new one. You'll notice there's 2 channels available. We're going to stick with website. That's where most of them are being deployed. And then you simply got use a blank template or use a blank template or find a chatbot template. We're going to use a template just because we're under time restrictions, and also because Juji have done a fantastic job with their templates, because they actually do build in a load of pre-built Q&As within that bot, within that template, which is fantastic. You'll notice that we've got different selections along here for general, HR, education, and healthcare, or you can obviously view all if you wanted to. You'll notice when we go down them that some have the little brain icon, as you can see here. Let me just zoom into that for you. There we go, my fat fingers. And that is simply denoting that template is at the AI treatment. So you can use elements of AI within the build, which is fantastic. But we're going to do education, and we are, let me just find it, bear with me. Oh, there we go. Couldn't find it for a second. So we're going to use this one here called Student Recruitment Assistant Multi-Programs. If we wanted to take a look at that, we can view the chat examples, and that's really handy when you're new to Juji and you want to actually see what the conversation feel is going to be like, the process, without actually having to apply the template, go through the setup, and then preview it. So this is great, just to be able to have a little look at what's going on. Makes life much, much easier. Genius idea. So to create, you just simply hit create. Juji will go off and do a little bit of magic. And you get 2 options at this stage. You can preview the chatbot, so that is just the basic template. It's not add any special treatment, and it's very generic. And like with any template, if you've ever done templates before, you've just got to go through each section of the conversation within Juji. They call them topic cards, and you've just got to go in and edit them. The great thing about using generative AI is you can really speed up that process. So we're going to actually start with that. So we're going to customize the chatbot, and then we've got the manual customization, or we can use AI to help. Obviously, this is about generative AI, so we're going to use AI. Do let me know that you can hear me okay. Let me just check in StreamYard. Okay. Yeah, if there's any problems, do let me know. So you can see by default that it's filled in some information, just to give you a feeling for how it should look. And what we're going to do is we're going to change that. So we are going to have, if you've done any of these lives with me before, you know I've used this brand before. It is a real brand. So we're going to use Le Cordon Bleu. So it's a cooking college university. Unique programs are recognized worldwide. 120 years of teaching experience. And finally, a unique multicultural and educational environment. So that's just some information I took from the website. In terms of programs, they've got a lot of programs. Obviously, the business would recommend which of these programs you highlight, but I've just selected 3 from the website. So the first is Diplôme de Pâtisserie, then Diplôme de Cuisine, and to add the third one in, I just need to hit this plus sign. And then this final educational program they have is Le Grand Diplôme, which is both of those, the patisserie and the cuisine, in one program. And then we just need the URL, which I've got a copy of here. I was just thinking, you know, like the cookery shows when they say, here's one I prepared earlier. So there we go. So we've got the website in, and what we're going to click now is just generate sample chat. It'll take a few seconds. So there you go. We get a feeling of the elements within the chat where the AI has done its magic. So, hi, I'm Mary, Juji chatbot. Hi, Mary. Welcome to Le Cordon Bleu. What brings you here today? Mary, I'm interested in learning more about the programs offered here. Juji, great. We offer 3 popular programs: Diplôme de Pâtisserie, Diplôme de Cuisine, and Le Grand Diplôme. Which would you like to learn more about? And the conversation goes on. So it just gives you a little taste. So we're just going to hit apply to the chatbot. So this normally takes 1 to 2 minutes. What I would say for any of you out there that decide you want to dive into Juji and give it a go is you can use it for free, as long as you don't go deploying it. You can share a link, obviously, and get people to go through it. But you get access to every feature. And I would start with the templates. There are so many to choose. I think I'm trying to think 80 odd, probably templates. So go to the ones that entice you, that look interesting, and just have a play. I would say play with the basic templates first, just get a feel for the Juji platform, and then start to play around with the generative AI elements. And you build as many as you like. If you've had a look, I've got hundreds on there that I've built when I've been learning how to use the product. And I would say with Juji is, once you understand their UX, their interface, it's very, very quick to build with. I'm hoping to demo that next week. I've been working on a survey that's a weighted survey. So as the person goes through and answers the 10 questions, depending on what their score, what answer they pick, they'll get a point for that answer. As they go through all 10, it'll then add up the answers and then give a different response depending on the score that you get in the survey. It's a little bit tricky, but I'm trying to get my head about the best way to do that, the best user interface to do that. And I think, next week I should be able to do that. It should be quite fun. So we're at step 3 of 5 at the moment, which is generating the Q&As. Yeah, what I should have done is use the other one I've already regenerated. But here we go. You just get a feel, you'll get a real feeling for the process. If you've got any questions, please do ask them. I can see the comments. And do tell me in the world where you are. I'm always interested to know. So Rupesh is here. David, thanks, David. Okay, I'm just going to silence that. Okay, we're at step 4 of 5. It's been a little bit slower than normal, but you get that occasionally, don't you? It's technology after all. Gives me a chance to have my coffee. But we're almost there. So step 4 or 5 is generating personalized messages. One key element, I think, with the world of chatbots and conversational AI systems is that personalization level and getting the balance right. I've seen underused personalization where the experience can feel very generic, and then I've seen over personalized where it can seem a little bit creepy. So if you're new to conversational design, that's something to think about. Okay, so we are ready. It's built it from the template. I just give it some basic information. And if we hit preview, we get a little taste of what's been built. So welcome to Liqueur and Blur. So obviously it's brought the business name through. It asks why I'm here today. And I can click this button or I could type something. We're just going to click the button for now because we're going to train Vita in a second, Vita the chatbot. So Vita acknowledges my request. And then she's going to ask for some information about me, better understanding my personality, and then we'll recommend which programs might be best for me. So I'm just going to put these in because I think this is quite interesting and people don't normally see this within a chatbot. So I'm just going to type it, paste in a little bit of pre-prepared text here. She's acknowledged that, and then she's asked for some more information around hobbies. And there we go. So what would normally happen is you would work with the client and you would specify the kind of personality types that are best suited to which programs. So certain people might be better suited to short, sharp programs. Other people might be, really academic type people and really conscientious and be able to do like the big programs. And that's very unique. That allows you to really step in on that personalization as an added value rather than it coming across as creepy. So many niches where that could be really, really useful, whether you're recommending training, obviously, but you could be recommending anything. You could be building a list of books. You could be building a list of videos for someone to watch, whatever. Once you know their personality type, you can really personalize the service or the product. And then it goes in and basically has the 3 products available. Now, that is so quick and easy. And, that anybody working in the education sector where you're potentially having thousands of conversations a week about your programs and products, this could be an absolute time saver and game changer. God, I can't believe I said game changer. That's not a phrase I ever use. So what we're going to do now is going to look at that Q&A phase. So if we go back into the design, and you'll notice across the top menu, we've been working in the main chat flow. So as I said before, these are all the topic cards for the conversation. And we're going to go into the Q&A board this time. So what we've got is it's basically generated using generative AI, a list of 10 Q&As. If we wanted to, we could download those, give them to the team that works on Q&As, They can then update them, change them, delete them, add them, and then we could re-upload. At this stage, we're not going to do that because it's just a quick and simple demo. And you'll notice, we'll just go through. So what is Le Cordon Bleu? And then the answer is Le Cordon Bleu is a network of educational institutions dedicated to providing the highest level of culinary and hospitality instruction. You can see, and if you're at the last live, you'll understand a bit more about how Juji can help with chatbot personality, that text is quite dry, quite formal, and it might not be the personality you want. So if you didn't see that one, it's available on the Juji Facebook business page, and you can watch that and see how you can really make those more personable, give them more personality. Second question, what types of programs does Le Cordon Bleu offer? All looks good. Again, it has generated these using generative AI. So we know it can get it wrong. So you definitely need someone within the business to check these out, but it does give you a great starting point. Where are they located? Interestingly, I have been on the website, so I know they are in United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and the United Kingdom. What is the history? That's accurate. That's what it said on the website. And there you go. So we've got 10 of those. And simply, we could go in if we wanted to and just update the text, but we're just going to submit them all. So we'll select all and we'll hit submit. So you can see here, total active questions and answered questions, 81. So there was obviously already 71 potential Q&As that were built in to the template. Imagine how much time that saves you. And we've added an additional 10 because the information we gave at the beginning. Coffee's on. So let's have a look at how we can use generative AI to build on these. So before I do, let me just show you how challenging Q&As, FAQs can be in the past if you're manually doing it and you're not using generative AI and you're not using such a useful product as Juji. So typically you would go in, add in the question. So that could have been generated by the team, given to you as the person who's responsible for updating the chatbot, or it could have been a question that was asked, but there was no answer for. So you would put the question in, and then you would have to generate the answer. You'd have to get someone, you'd have to test it, and then get someone to sign it off. But at this stage, you would then perhaps add another one in. So it'd be a variation. And then we'd have a variation on the answer. Within Juji, you can have straight away, we can generate 10 variations of the question, or we can generate 3 variations of the answer. So you would have to do that manually. Typically, when I'm building, I put about an hour per Q&A for building them. So that is getting them from the customer, that is making them conversational, that is building the conversation that answers that question, training it, getting the customer to test it, and then testing it in the demo environment myself, and then making it live. So if you've got, I don't know, 50 Q&As that you need me to build, it's 50 hours work. And it's accurate. It takes time to build these. And it's not just my time, it's obviously the team's time as well. So it can be quite resource intensive. We're not going to add those, but what we're going to do is going to click on search. If you've got any questions. Susan, welcome. How's the conversational design training going? I might have something for you, soon. I've got a project that I'm launching in about 100 days' time, which you might find useful, and Rupesh, you might find it useful as well. Susan, wow, are you doing a weighted survey without any outside database integrations? Either way, can't wait for it. Yeah, so it's not going to be integrated at this stage, but it is going to give the person who takes a survey an immediate answer whether they are compatible for this service or product. I hope that makes sense. And David's asking, how are you automating the LinkedIn messaging such as the one at my recent post? And can you use an automated response? Oh, I can't go into that link at the moment. Once I finish with this, David, I'll take a look. Okay, so as you can see within Juji now, we've got the Q&As, and there's 5 pages worth. And if we go down, you can actually see the generative AI ones that were generated are all here. And then you'll suddenly see it's changed here. So there's some other ones that are actually in here. So am I eligible for financial aid? Will I have access to the library? Number of alumni? Where do I get IT help? Obviously, if you don't need those, because these are ones that are pre-built into the template, you would just delete them out. But it does give the team that are responsible for building the Q&As a really good starting point. So let's choose one. So what is the cost? We've done that one already. In fact, we'll do this one, question 10. So we know the programs question was in there. What types of programs does Le Cordon Bleu offer? But what we're going to do is we are going to create question and answer variations using generative AI. And I cannot stress enough how much time this saves you. So on the left, we've got user questions. And on the right, we got responses. I'm just going to delete this one down here because it was just where I was demoing how it's done manually. So delete that. So within this, let's generate some variations on the question. What types of programs does Le Cordon Bleu offer? So all we do is we click here on the auto paraphrase question. In the top box, we can see the question. If we come down, we can actually change the number of paraphrases to be generated. I'm going to leave it at the default 10, but you can have a maximum of 25. I'm going to up the diversity of paraphrases just so we have some good variations for the demo. But you can play around with that yourselves. And then we're just going to hit the auto generate button. Takes just a few seconds. And there you go. So the variations of the question are things like, what classes does Le Cordon Bleu provide? What kind of courses do they offer at Le Cordon Bleu? What instructional programs are available from Le Cordon Bleu? What does Le Cordon Bleu teach students? What education can you get? So this is all of the questions that will then go into the natural language understanding, and then it will obviously get cleverer. Its knowledge will increase. So, if I wanted to take any of these out, I'm going to take that one out. So I'm just going to take 9 of the 10 that it recommended, and then I'll just click done. So it's just refreshed. Those questions are now in there. What we're going to want to do now is add in some variations on the answer. And I think this is really important because, especially when you're selling something like a big ticket item like this, is the person might come back 2 or 3 times and ask the same question. And if they do, you don't want it to be a carbon copy of the same answer. You want a slightly different answer. And this is where your kind of sales messaging comes in. So you can take the ones that are going to be generated now, but you could also pop out to ChatGPT with the answer and just give it a prompt, make this a more sales-focused response to the question, or give me a sales-focused response to this question, and then integrate the two. You can do that manually. It's not an issue. But to make our lives easier, we're just going to auto-paraphrase. So this is the answer. You don't want to have a lot, and you can see the maximum number you're going to do is 3. You can see I've got the option customize message by chatbot personality. Again, go back to the previous live I did, and you can see how that really works. So good. But we're just going to generate the 3. There you go. So we've got our 3. And I'll tell you now, those 3 would be very different if we'd previously set the chatbot personality. It's one of the best features that Juji have implemented recently. I absolutely love it. So we're going to have those. If I wanted to, I could go in and edit them there, but for time for us, we're just going to hit done. So now we've got the variations, and you can see them there. And we've also got the variations on the questions. Really, really simple, massive time saver. If you imagine you're a big college or university, there are so many questions that students ask And it's a bit of work at the beginning when you're implementing your first chatbot to really tie those questions down. You're never going to cover everything, of course. But what's really great about Juji is when someone, you can set it so that when somebody asks a question and it doesn't have an answer, it'll tell them, okay, we don't have an answer right now, but we'll get one. Do you want us to alert you when we've got an answer? Which I think is genius. It's such a clever way to fill the gaps in your knowledge. And even if that Q&A is only used once, it's not going to take you long to do. So we're happy with that. And what you've got to do then, which is something I'm always forgetting, you've got to make sure you submit it. So we'll hit submit. I'm just going to copy one of the variations because we're going to try it in a second. So we're going to submit those. And they've got it. And again, the process would be you would just go into each one and you would auto-generate questions. Let's get rid of that. You'd also generate questions. This is how quick and easy this is. It's pure genius. And there was all these people working in conversational AI and chatbots worried they were going to lose their job. It's just a tool to make life easier and make delivery quicker. So we'll hit done, and then we'll do the same with these answers. I think it takes a lot of the pressure. You know, I've built more than 300 chatbots now. So for me, there's not a lot I come across that I haven't come across before. But if you're working within a university and you've been given the responsibility to build the Q&As, this takes an awful lot of that pressure off. And we'll just submit those. Okay, so they've gone in. What we're going to do is going to do a little preview now. So Vita's starting up. We want Vita to, in fact, we don't want that. We're just going to ask the question. Remember when we've just updated the NLP, the language, natural language processing. So hopefully it's gone through. There you go. So it picked up on that variation. And what I love about this is it allowed us to interrupt. So the pattern interrupt was, they wanted to know what brought us here today, but we asked another question on the service, the product. Vita, the Juji chatbot, then answered correctly after we just trained her. And then she says, let's get back into our flow. Obviously, I don't like that language, and you can change that, make it very much on brand. What brings you? Again, I don't like that, but again, we can go in and change every element of that. And let's try this. Tell me about your program to see if it works. Don't forget, I've not gone on in and trained that. Yeah, so you didn't understand it. So the program stuff, I would have to go in and I would have to train that. But as you can see, she handled the introduction of the new Q&As perfectly that were supported by Generative AI. She also handled the interruption without missing a beat and then got back into the conversation. So I hope that makes sense. Let me just see if there's any more questions. Bear with me. Will auto-generated paraphrases always be in grammatically correct English, or will the NLP handle spelling and grammar irregularities? So I would suspect that some people say that you should put spelling and grammar mistakes into your NLP. I'm not convinced. I'm not so sure about that. The auto-generated paraphrases, I haven't seen any grammatical errors. I'm sure there would be, and I've certainly not seen any spelling. But so far, because it's using OpenAI, obviously, it's absolutely fine. I've not worried one bit about what it's brought through. Would you make a chatbot for a company? If yes, how much will that cost? Yeah, so that's the age-old question. Christ. Yes, I'll make them for the right company in the right niche. But the cost is very much what I always tell people is it's the equivalent of asking what's the cost of a website. Depends what you want it to do. Depends how many conversations it's going to have, because you're going to have platform costs. And platform costs all over the place. You can have just a set standard fee for the year. It can be a monthly fee. They can be tiered. It can be dependent on how many conversations you have, the integrations, the complexity, how much care it's going to need from the company that are hosting it. So in terms of the product, there's a cost, and then there's the design and development costs. Often the platforms will have some internally that can help with the project management and the delivery and help with the training of the internal staff. And one of the skills that I have is I'm kind of freelance, and I will often be that guy. So I'll either be hired by the platform or the business that is going to build the chatbot will bring me in to support their team and help manage the products and the delivery. After more than 300 chatbots, I've got quite a bit of experience. Susan, does Juji have a UI feature to organize Q&As by theme? I can see the UI becoming unwieldy once training becomes robust. Good question. I don't know. I will find out and I'll let you know. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions, do let me know. This will be here on the Juji account for you to watch and rewatch if you want to. Within probably the next 24, 48 hours, I'll be publishing the next one. Again, I'd like to do the survey one. I just need to check with the team if that's the right approach. And we'll do some more with Juji. I'm going to actually start doing some come build with me sessions as well. So it might be a midweek thing, maybe Tuesday or a Wednesday, where I'll just be working on some projects within Juji, not client projects, but projects for myself to keep me up to date with the product. And then I'll be building, and you can just drop in and ask me questions while I'm building, even get involved. Rupesh, please do a Juji functions webinar. Please do message me and let me know more about what you mean, because there are kind of programming functions and then there are kind of feature functions within it. Susan, thank you. Yeah, I'm really pleased you drop in and get some value out of this. Do reach out to me. Let me know what other products you're using, what training you're going through. And as I've said, I'm launching something in the next 100 days, which I think could be really useful for yourself, people that are kind of learning conversational design, products, the skills, the issues. Rupesh, programming features. Yeah, let me have a think about that. It's quite advanced. But yeah, we could have some fun with functions. I might be able to use functions within my survey. We'll see. You never know. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for dropping in. Keep an eye out on the Juji page. Make sure you've liked their page, and it will let you know when the next event is going live. Thanks again. We're at 33.5 minutes, slightly longer than I wanted, but I enjoyed it. Take care. Bye.